Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the 25 main SAT math concept summary videos, and today we are gonna do each and every concept about functions, what all can be tested about the topic functions on your SAT math section. So first, a little bit of theory. Let's do a little bit of theory. What are functions? And then we'll see that how you can interpret that this particular question is testing you on the concept of functions. So interpret functions question. And then finally we will do 3 questions. So you can expect these 3 type of questions on your SAT math section. So first let's do the theory. So what are functions? Functions are nothing but relations. So a relation is basically a relationship between two quantities. So if you have a quantity x and if you have a quantity y, then you can have any type of relationship between these two quantities. For example, y can be equal to 2 times x. This is a relationship between x and y. Y can be equal to 2x plus 3. This is a relationship between x and y. So these are all called relations, and some special relationships are called functions. We will discuss what is the difference between relations and functions in detail in maybe some other video. The thing is that when we draw the mapping between x and y, and here are all the x values, here are all the y values, and then your x values are mapped to some number. Now the thing is that a single x value cannot have two y values for a function. For example, here is a y value, here is a y value, and if this x value is getting mapped, this is getting mapped to, if this x value is getting mapped to two different y values, that is not allowed in functions. Okay, so that is the only difference between relations and functions, but we can discuss that in detail in a separate video. Okay, so we have talked about what are functions. Now you will see, so this is called relation notation. This is called relation notation. So for example, y equals negative x plus 11, and then this similar relationship can be also represented as f of x equals negative x plus 11. So this is, this you have seen, you call it an equation, you can call it an equation, or you can call it a relation, or you can call it a function. The thing is, actually this is an equation, but if you're talking about relationship between x and y, then this is called relation notation. And the same equation, the same relationship can be also expressed in the form of function notation, which is this: f of x equals negative x plus 11. Okay, so this, what does this mean? Now this x is my input. This x is called my input. Think of the functions as a machine. So you put some input inside the machine and you get some output. For example, if I am inputting, let's input x equals 4. Let's input x equals 4. So f of 4 equals, so wherever you see x on the right hand side, just replace that x by 4. So you get negative 4 plus 11, which is 7. So f of 4 is equal to 7. Or we can say that when x is equal to 4, my y value is equal to 7. So this is all that you need to know about functions. how do you input values and then what output do you get, how to find out the output when some input is given. And now let's do the questions. Let's dive deep into the questions. Well, there are a hell lot of other things as well, like domain, range, slope of a function. There is so many things, but I cannot cover everything in one video. So if I talk about functions specifically, then the type of questions which are asked from the topic of functions, I have taken those core types, those core question types. Okay, so here we have the first one. F of x is equal to negative 2x plus 7. Then we have to find out the value of f of 1/2 x plus 3. Now remember, this whole thing that you see, this entire thing, 1/2 x plus 3, this entire thing, this is now your input. And this question is asking us to find out the output. So this f of 4 here, this was actually your output. This f of 4 was your output. So in this question as well, we have to do the same thing. Input is given and we have to find out the output. The only difference is that in this case, the input is not a number, it's an expression. So no worries, we can pass an expression in the form of input. Okay, so our function is f of x equals negative 2x plus 7. Now remember, in place of x, we have to just put 1/2 times x plus 3. So f of 1/2 x plus 3. Now as I said, wherever you see x on the right hand side, just replace it with this input. So you have negative 2. Now you have x, so in place of x we will write 1/2 times x plus 3 plus 7. Distribute this negative 2, so you get negative 2 times 1/2 of x plus negative 2 times 3 and plus 7. This gives you negative x minus 6 plus 7. Negative 6 plus 7 is going to be plus 1. So negative x plus 1, that's the output. So option A is correct. So this is the first question type that can be asked on SAT Math. They will give you the function and they will ask you to find out some output for a specific input. So don't worry, just input that number inside the definition of the function. Next, you can get something like this. They will give you, okay, first of all, let's read the question. G of x is equal to k times x cubed plus 3. Here k is a constant. If g of negative 1 is 5, find the value of g of 1. So they have given you the output when input is negative 1. Input is negative 1. Then output is 5. And we have to find out the output when input is 1. But the problem here is that we don't know the value of k. And until we find out the value of k, we cannot find out g of 1. So in order to find out the value of k, we will use this information. Okay, so g of x is equal to k times x cubed plus 3. And it's given that g of negative 1 is 5. So substitute x equals negative 1. So k times negative 1 cube plus 3. And this value is equal to 5. So you'll get a linear equation in variable k. So negative 1 cube is negative 1. So you get that times k is negative k plus 3 is equal to 5. Subtract 3 from both the sides. So you get negative k equals 5 minus 3, which is equal to 2. So that means k is equal to negative 2. So that gives us our function gx is equal to negative 2 times x cubed plus 3. And now we have to find out the value of g of 1. So let's substitute x equals 1. So g of 1 is equal to negative 2 times 1 cube plus 3 1 cube is just 1, so 1 times negative 2 is negative 2 plus 3. So negative 2 plus 3 is just 1. So option C is correct. This is another type in which, you know, some value can be given, like some output value can be given, and you have to find out the output for some other input. Let's see the next one. In this one, there is no equation is given to us, but the values of the function are given to us in the form of a table. So some input values are given, some output values are given, and they say that if fx is a linear function, find the value of k. So let's do this. Now the same question could have been also given in this form. They could have said that, let's say f of negative 4 is equal to negative 4, f of 0 is equal to negative 1, f of 6 is equal to k, and if fx is a linear function, find out the value of k. So this information can be also represented like this. Okay, it's the same information, it's just that the way of representing this information is different. Now the only information apart from this is that f of x is a linear function. So how can we use this? So if this is a linear function, that means its graph is gonna look like this. It's gonna be a straight line. It's gonna be a straight line. It's gonna be like this or like this. The point is that it's gonna be a straight line, and on a straight line, the slope of this line is gonna be constant, right? So if you take any 3 points, if I'm taking, let's say I'm taking 3 points, this one, and this one, right? So and let's say that this point is A, this point is B, and this point is C. So can I say that slope of line segment AB will be same as slope of line segment BC? Yes, I can say that. Now all you have to do is you have to find out these points. So see, this is x, these are all the x values, and these are all the y values, because f of x represents the output, which is your y values. So I can say that I have these points, so I can say that these points will lie on this line, negative 4 comma negative 4, 0 comma negative 1, and 6 comma k. I can say that these 3 points are gonna lie on the graph of this function. Okay, so I don't know what will be the exact graph of this function, but just for the sake of solving this question, let's assume that this point has the coordinates negative 4 comma negative 4, this point has coordinates 0 comma negative 1, and this point has coordinates 6 comma k. And we know that slope of line segment AB is going to be same as slope of line segment BC. So, and how do we find out the slope? So slope of AB is going to be negative 1. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or rise over run. So I'm going to do that. So y2 negative 1 minus negative 4 minus y1 over x2, which is 0, minus x1, which is negative 4. And then slope of BC. So y2 will be k, so k minus y1, which is negative 1, over x2, which is 6, minus x1, which is 0. And this will give us a linear equation in variable k, which we can easily solve. So first we have negative 1 plus 4 over 0 plus 4, which is going to be 4, equals k plus 1 over 6. Let's simplify this. Negative 1 plus 4 is equal to 3 over 4, equals k plus 1 over 6. Let's cross multiply this. 3 times 6 gives us 18, and 4 times k plus 1. So distribute 4 to k plus 1, so we'll get 4k plus 4 times 1 is 4. Now 18 Subtract 4 from both the sides. 18 minus 4 is gonna give us 14. 14 is equal to 4k. Divide the equation by 4, so we get 14 over 4 is equal to k. And we can divide numerator and denominator by 2 to get 7 over 2. So value of k is 7 over 2. Do we have any options? Okay, this is the gradient type. 7 over 2 or 3.5. That's the value of k. So that's it for the topic of functions. These are 3 question types that you can definitely expect on your SAT math section, but this does not give any guarantee that you will not see any other question type, but these 3 question types have the maximum chances of appearing on your SAT math section. And remember, the more different types of questions you practice, the more you will be exposed to, the more you will be exposed to the challenges and the ways to tackle each and every SAT math problem. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.